Welcome back to the Business Workshop Podcast, where we bring all types of businesses and entrepreneurs into the shop to share their stories so we can all grow our individual business and help each other grow together. But first, I'm your host, Josh Handler, co-founder of the Handler Zimmerman team at Keller Williams Realty Elite. If you have a home you're looking to sell, reach out to me to help answer any questions, concerns about the process, or if you just want to know what your house is worth. If you're looking to buy, our team is here for you for all your needs. Give us a call, 516-732-6398. Now, in today's workshop, we have none other than Steve Zappalla and Ryan Rhodes. And the reason why we're doing this episode is because these agents are now full-time agents where they left a full-time career, 9 to 5, salary, benefits, the whole shebang, everything. 401k, to pursue a real estate full-time position. So we're going to talk the pros, the cons, the things they like, they don't like, and everything of what it's like being a realtor and growing now that you're full-time rather than full-time with another job as a backup. So again, guys, welcome to the show.
We are here.
Finally. Good to be here.
Thank you for having us, Joshy.
So let's start it off. Give us a little background, whoever wants to start, what you did prior to real estate or what you were doing prior to going full-time real estate.
Start it off there, Ryan.
All right, so I'll lead it off. So I'll put it this way. I was a full-time investigator for New York City for about 4 years.
Okay.
So I was doing that full-time, government job security, pension, the whole shebang, 9 to 5, or sometimes a little more than that. But there just came a point in my life. I actually recently just resigned in last December. So I'm kind of fresh into this.
Yep.
And I think it was one of those things where what's important to you. I think this pandemic, we learned a lot. So I think it's kind of what really is important to you. Time, money, like what is it? So, as Josh knows, you guys know, I just had a baby. So that kind of family comes into the equation as well. And so I think time became a little bit more important to me than money. And I know in this industry, you're going to make money. Like if you put the work in, you're going to make money. So look, it's scary. You lose pension, you lose job security, but also I kind of like it because then you put some faith in yourself.
Yeah, you're betting on yourself.
Yeah. So, look, it's still a little scary. Don't get me wrong, but look, if you put in the work, good things are going to happen. So sometimes you just got to make that leap.
That was the one thing I always liked about real estate before I was in the restaurant business, and it was, okay, you knew at your job, okay, I was getting the salary. Yes, it was comfortable. I knew I was getting paid every week. I knew I was going to get this deposit into my bank account. I knew I work these hours. I go home. I put my head on my pillow. I don't got to worry about the next, paycheck or putting food on the table, anything of that nature. And then you go into a job that's fully commission-based where you don't shoot something, you're not eating, right? So it's a total different game changer in your mind, but there's also no ceiling on the money you can make. So the one thing I like, if you worked your ass off at your job, that was a 9 to 5, you may get a bonus a little bit. You're not going to get nearly what you think you deserve, but you'll get some type of bonus most likely. But you're always going to be working for somebody you're making those people the higher amounts of money, as the ladder goes up. Compared to doing it now, the harder you work now, you're doing it for yourself. The harder you work, the more money you can make. And you're going to get the benefits, nobody else.
Absolutely. For somebody like me, for people in the same situation, I was, waking up at 5, 6 a.m., commuting in traffic every day, killing 3 hours back and forth. I wasn't seeing my family. I was working 12, 13-hour days. I like the work that I was doing because I'm kind of, I trained in being an investigator. I've spent a lot of time and money in schooling to become an investigator. So I love to investigate. I still kind of do on the side. But again, what's really important, and I think there was a time where I was just like, look, I'm, screw it, I'm going to bet on myself, and let's do it, let's roll.
Yeah, I think it takes not everyone's meant to be an entrepreneur, not everyone's meant to work for themselves.
It's not easy.
A lot of people that, they need that stability, they need that comfortability of a 9 to 5 with the salary, and then there's people that are a gambler, per se, that want to bet everything, I'll throw every dollar at myself, and 10 times over. Anything I think I will do if I want to do it.
You got to put in the work, though. That's kind of one of those things. It just doesn't happen overnight. That's kind of the thing where if you're kind of lazy and not proactive, then it's not going to be as easy for you. But, for me, I like to be productive. I like to work. So, it just kind of came about.
Liking to work is always key.
It's got to.
But
hard work works. Stevie.
So same thing. I was full-time before this. So I actually graduated from Albany with a history degree. Everybody's in my family's in education. So I thought that was the route for me. Got out of college and I got a job with WB Mason, and I was slinging
remember that
copy
job.
paper and toner. That was my first job. 22 years old,
Yankee
knocking
sponsor?
on doors.
Yankee sponsor, yeah.
Yep, and the Mets too. Left center field
Oh
out there.
God, moving on.
I
Scratch
had a
that.
brief stint, brief stint in pharma, and then basically for the last 7 years, I had a 7-year stint in the elevator industry. So I was working on new construction sales for a large elevator company. So I had that corporate sales background, and then August of 2020, I got my.
So over a year now, right?
It was over 2 years this August. I got my license. I actually started taking a test prior to the pandemic. Whole delays, and basically I had passed the test, and I had to wait like 6 months to actually finally take, I think, the New York State test or so, the online test. Yep, in person. So basically I was only doing it for about 6 months, and then January 4th, 2021, a day that have changed my life.
I'll never forget that phone call, by the way.
I didn't even expect. I actually came back. That whole entire year of 2020, I didn't take one day off from work. I think one day I took off my birthday, and I took the entire week and a half off from Christmas to New Year's Eve, and I worked real estate almost every single day, and I freaking loved it. Like it was addicting. It didn't even feel like I was working. And then I came back from vacation break, and that Monday I didn't even plan on quitting my job, and there was a lot of stuff that happened that day.
How stressful you were leading up to there from your regular job. I remember you calling me every day. I hate my job. I hate it. I'm miserable.
Yep.
And you literally called me that day, and you're like,
didn't even plan on doing it. I wound up reaching out to my territory operations manager and just said, "Hey, Mike, listen, I'm going to give real estate a full time." And completely scared shitless. I remember I was working with MJ. Oh, wait, shout out to MJ and the team at the time. And I had some showings with him, and I was like, holy cow, what did I do? And it's a scary feeling. And like you said, you got to bet on yourself. And it was very scary for those first couple of days. And then afterwards, just having the confidence of, working with the team and just, knowing that, hey, listen, I made my decision. I got to go full force into this.
yeah, you're going with it.
Kind of dived into it. So
I
that
feel
was
for
really the
you,
day.
it was a little easier, not easier, but you were in sales, right?
Yes.
So you had the sales background, like you were always in sales. Yes, you had a salary that you were getting bonuses on sales, but like you were in sales, like all your jobs have been sales. Right. Majority of your jobs have been sales background, something of that nature. So yes, you may not be selling toner paper or an elevator, but you're selling, you're still selling something. Correct. So you still need those people. What's the right word? You still need that knowledge, communication skills, and just that to be that people person, because you're helping them with one of the biggest decisions of their lives. So like you help me with some of these things, because I could be very blunt sometimes and not have much patience a lot of times, which in this industry and any sales, you need that patience.
Definitely.
And that was something that you every time would teach me, and still teaching as you're always, improving little by little. But you realize the things that you do wrong or things that you could just improve on that'll just make you a better person, which will make the people around you a better person.
Correct.
And the thing with me is that I never had a sales background. So, my dad was in sales, and I was one of those sales. I'm going to go into law. I'm not going to do what my daddy did. Like that was kind of like the framework I came from. And I had my license actually before the pandemic. So I saw how things were before the madness happened. So I had a little bit of backing, which helped. But at the same token, what is sales? To me, sales is asking the right questions, reading people, so I was able to translate what I did, as an investigator to kind of sales.
Right.
And again, the help from you guys and everyone else really helped me, fine tune those things to be a quote unquote salesman if I needed to.
Right. So as you guys have become full-time realtors now, what has been some of the pros of being full-time in this industry, and what have been some of the cons since you left your full-time job of being a full-time realtor?
So pros definitely, as you were talking about before, the quality of life with time, family, making your own schedule. I mean, having the full autonomy to do what I want when I want is hands down absolute.
And we always
best
spoke
thing.
about that.
And we have spoken about this. I
the
remember
quality
I was
of
working
life.
at
Always.
Schindler, and I'd give a call to Josh, and he'd be like, shooting out, and he's meeting throughout the random day. And I'd be like, where are you right now?
I'm like, I'm on my jet ski going to, going to meet my buddy. Like I took
you make your schedule.
Yes.
That's I think huge, as opposed to be like, oh, you have to be here at 8:55 or you're late.
You want a day off, you have to request it.
He was on his jet ski on a Monday at 2 because he worked, 20 hours that Saturday, Sunday. So it's, you have, like I said before, the autonomy to put as much work in as you want, or as least work in you want, per a weekly basis, per a monthly basis, whatever it may be. So definitely that time, I'd say, is the thing. My quality of life right now has never been ever better. and that's full based on being able to put the time in that you want. Definitely pros, no ceiling on a monetary standpoint. Working at any W-2 job or a company, there's always a particular number that, depending on the industry that you're in, that maybe
You're having a max.
You're capped
even
at.
with your bonuses. Like, okay, if I have a stellar year, okay, my max is going to be this number.
Correct. And it's nice knowing that, hey, this number is coming in, every single month, and having those pay, and knowing that, hey, listen, if I go on 2 weeks vacation, I don't have to worry about maybe a deal coming through here or there. So that obviously is nice, but the other pro is just here. There's legitimately no ceiling. So I mean, you can make as much
as you want
with the time and effort that you put into it. So that was super attractive on that standpoint.
So all right, we'll do pros first.
Oh, pros. I mean, I guess I have to just reiterate what Steve said. I mean, time to me, my schedule has always been paramount. It's always been important to me. So I used to make my schedule, even working, 9 to 5. I worked a lot of overtime. So sometimes I get in early, get in late because, overtime is key.
Yeah.
There was also a time I was working from home for government, which I thought was never possible. So I was able to work at home, which was huge because my commute was 4 steps.
Yeah.
And I was able to make phone calls and I was able to do certain things that I wanted to. But as soon as you go back to the office, your schedule, you really have to plan it out.
Yeah.
I would work till 8 o'clock and then I'd hop on the computer and I'd till midnight looking up listings or whatever the case. I wasn't there for my clients as much as because it's like, oh, well, I can only meet you at 7 p.m. as opposed to now I can meet you at 2 p.m. or I can meet you whenever you're available as opposed to whenever I'm available. So I think, quality of life is definitely huge because it wears on you. I've been a government employee pretty much my entire life and it wears on you, that commute, that 9 to 5,
the commute is brutal. And we talked about this the other day.
Don't even get me started.
I don't know how people sit in that every day.
Every
day.
And it's commute on the belt every day. I mean, that's
I was on Southern State and losing my mind.
During the pandemic, it was great because no one was on the road, but now everyone's back and it is what it is. But I think that, time is money. So you try to fit as much as you can in, but also balance, man. Balance. I feel like there was a certain point where I was losing the balance. I wasn't, my family was like, oh, you're not going to be here. No, I got to work. I got to do this. I was working Sundays, so I couldn't even watch football. Something as small as watching football. I couldn't because I was working, on Sunday. Again, I think time and schedule is really huge because now I've got, the way my wife put it, I get my life back. I wasn't a slave to the job that 9 to 5. Now I have control of my life and I have my life back.
It's huge. I've seen it huge since Tegan was born. Like all those, if you have a job that's 9 to 5, like I have so many people that I know that have kids, like, you have X amount of days off that you're allowed from your job, 6 weeks, 8 weeks, whatever they give you. And then it's like, okay, I'm either putting your 8-week-old, whatever, in daycare, or you're giving her to a family to watch her. They're growing up around people, you're not there half the day.
Who knew kids cost money? Who would have thunk? But no, that's a huge factor. It's not about you or your wife anymore. You have somebody else to worry about too. So.
Right. So now, you got to pay all these people to grow your daughter or your son, let them grow up with somebody else because you have that 9 to 5. So I was able to, thankfully I have guys like you guys to depend on, or, Ron and other team members where I haven't worked a buyer in 10 plus months. So technically prior to Tegan, I would bust my ass every single day, every single hour because my mentality was work only. And Shannon would yell at me all the time. Are you going to turn off your phone? It's 11:30. Can we relax a little bit? I needed to answer every single person. I needed to be there for every buyer, every seller, etc. I realize now that
burnout, man.
You will burn. You will 100% burn out.
You will. It's inevitable.
And on top of that, okay, if I answer you at 11 o'clock at night, or I answer you first thing at 9 a.m., nothing is changing from now till then. So if I can't answer you the second, if I give you the answer now, maybe you sleep a little bit better at night. I don't know, but nothing's gonna physically change.
Correct. So sometimes I don't sleep because I'm waiting for an offer acceptance or something like that, but that's a whole
nother ballgame.
That's a whole other story.
But it's now I put my phone down, let's relax together. And, having the first 10 months with Tegan, it's okay, if I had a regular 9 to 5 job, I'd be back at my desk. You'd be doing whatever she would be doing with somebody else. But I was able to be there literally for the last 10 months, whatever we wanted to do. Saturday, we didn't want to, work. Shannon head off. We took Tegan to the zoo. We went to the Bronx Zoo. If you have a job, you can't be able to do it. So these things all matter. You can't get that time back. And you could always make another dollar, but you can't get the time back.
Very true.
I think that's, I mean, kind of you just said that's, I hit a point in my life where I was like, man, time is way more important than money. Like you'll always make money. When you die, what happens to money, you know? So I think, again, it's time and quality of life because
That was the tipping point?
Yeah, but I'm saying like if you burn out, you're useless. If you can't think straight, you're useless. You really need to be at the top of your game. So if you like I like to golf and stuff like that. Now I have the chance to do that, which then releases for a couple hours. And that's, I think everything's better. You become more productive. Everyone likes you more. You're not pissed off yelling at the world because
Nothing
you're
like a release.
miserable. Yeah, nothing like a good old release. I don't know what you're thinking, but any release is good. But yeah, so quality of life is huge. But at the same token, now we'll go to cons.
Go to cons. Steve, you started off. Give me 3 cons of not having a full-time job compared to a full-time realtor.
Besides the stability standpoint of things, with benefits, paycheck coming in, it's obviously that's a big con of it. I think the slave to your phone. I am somebody who's just now addicted to my phone, constantly on it. It's never away from me. Like there will be never a point there'll never be 10 minutes where I haven't checked my phone or I didn't have my phone with me. And just I am somebody who is very prompt with getting back to clients, to lenders, to attorneys regarding any current deals, working with particular transactions. And I feel that if I don't respond to that buyer right away, I'm not doing my best job as an agent. And sometimes that is, hey, listen, if I'm out to dinner with somebody, like I can put the phone down and worry about it in an hour from now, from Friday from 7 to 8 o'clock. I don't need to respond right now. And I actually love the agents who have on their voicemail, like, hey, listen, if you reach me after the hours of 8 o'clock, I'll get back to you the next day. And you know what? I respect that. You're letting that agent know or letting the client know that I've acknowledged it. I will get back to you tomorrow, and I don't need to get back to you at 8:30.
You know what? That comes down to just setting parameters up when say you have a buyer consultation. Listen, we do whatever we need. If it's an emergency, I will always answer. But if it's something that is 9 o'clock at night and it could wait, I may not get back to you till the next morning.
Correct.
But if they expect you to answer every single time, then the one time you don't, they're going to be like, yo, what are you doing?
Yeah, that's a slippery slope as well. So I know Steve was that one more? Are you done with the cons?
No, you got it.
Yeah, no, basically.
Got them all in?
That's it? All right.
Well, cons to me is job security. I don't have job security, which I've been living with my entire life, and that's nice to have that paycheck coming in. But I always thought I was kind of a little more than just that paycheck. I was like, yes, I'm making a good living. I have a pension, I'm all safe. But I was like, is this really it? Do you work until you're 55 and then and you don't enjoy yourself? I was like, there's got to be some enjoyment in life. I think the pandemic really, at least for me, puts things in perspective. And it gives you and that's, again, there was one point 2 years ago we all thought we were dying. We all thought we were dead, right? We're all going to be zombies. We're going to walk around. So to me, you put things in perspective. So, but that steady paycheck is definitely,
something to get used to.
Money's fun. Again, I think. Also with the phone is because I don't mind being on my phone. I like to work. I enjoy working.
Right.
So I'll work all the time. I know setting parameters. I probably should get better at that. But
we're all terrible.
I answer all the time. I'm up in the morning. I'll answer my phone at any time. There's my wife doesn't necessarily like it as much because I'm always on my phone. But what I'm trying to do and getting better is because I've only been full time for about 3 or 4 months now. I'm trying to get that where I literally separate time for everything.
Yep.
I want to separate time with the kids.
You have to.
And I hate to schedule it to a T because I'm kind of one of all those, but I think now that you have to.
We wanted to go out to dinner Saturday night. I literally had to put it in the calendar. Dinner with Tegan and Shannon from 5 to 8. We're going to Spontino's. I had to put it in the calendar.
I love Spontino's. Nice.
I mean, I have an hour set out for Emmy where I will try to do just be with her for an hour. Don't even look at my phone. Obviously, easier said than done. And again, dinner, going out, certain things like that. Time for myself.
Everything goes into a calendar now. It's crazy.
And that's what I kind of hate that because I used to be kind of free. I didn't like to have everything scheduled. I like to be spontaneous, but. You come into this business and you got to really be organized. And I think that's another con is that if you're not organized, buckle up because you got to get on it. I mean, you got to have all the paperwork ready to go.
Our counterpart right here.
That was not a shot at little Stevie,
but I tell Steve this all the time because all the things that I say, it's literally because I've literally over the 4 years have gone through these from leaving a full-time job to going full-time and the mistakes I've made along the way of either not being organized or having some separation or all these things combined, they will catch up. And once you're busy, the only way you're able to really scale and go from 20 deals to 30 to 40, you have to be organized when you're doing 10.
Because, you don't want to submit an offer to take an hour and a half. You know, if you want to submit an offer, you want that to take 10 minutes. You know, you want to have everything lined up. If you want to put up a listing, you want everything to be right there. Because I don't want to do everything, you know, as coming into this new, you know, again, with us and the team, you and Ron have obviously realized that, you know, maybe spread it out a little bit so people get help along the way. With us kind of jumping into this, you know, it's just us. You know, I'm the admin, I'm the receptionist, I'm everything. So not that I mind that.
A lot of hats. Well, this is
I'm the shower, the lister, you know, all that kind of crap. But, you know,
this is one thing I go over with Steve, because in the beginning, when we were doing leads, you know, he would have a lead, then, you know, maybe it wasn't as serious, but it had potential. Then, you know, the phone rings again, your next lead, you know, they're a little bit more serious. So you start putting more time into that person. And then he gets the next phone call, and that one's like, I want to buy today. And then those two people take a back seat. And like, I used to have to get on Steve and be like, listen, get a spreadsheet going. So like you could be following up with these people, because how many times did you end up circling back to some people and like,
They found something already. Actually, quote unquote, when we were on vacation for Chef's bachelor party, there was a client that was through Zillow, and she was saying, oh, I'm going to wait about a month or so. And she had reached out. We were on vacation, and I was away, and I was like, oh, I'll get back to you in a couple of days. And I forgot. It was like 72 hours, and I got back to her that Tuesday, and she says, oh, you know, I actually spoke to somebody else, and I started to work with her. And right there, it was just an opportunity that you lost out because maybe I wasn't as organized with my follow-ups with the CRM or whatever it may be to get back in touch with her. And you know, could have lost out in a transaction.
Speaking of CRMs, are you guys using CRMs or not yet? Like,
we are.
Fully, how you should be.
Not fully as we should be.
I am honestly getting there where so I'm trying to be a lot more diligent and a lot better with it. And I think I've gotten there. But it's a work in progress. I think I've been way better than I have in the past, especially working part-time. I was not organized at all.
Organization is so important. And that's why I pretty strong, like doing stuff like that just sets you up for success in so many different ways, because you're going to get to the point where we're all doing multiple transactions. We're not talking like 5 a year. We're talking 20, 30, 40, 50 a year, where, you know, maybe that one that you slipped through the crack, maybe that's a $10,000 commission. You do that 10 times a year, you just lost out $100,000 because we didn't want to have, a spreadsheet? You know, when you think about it, at the grand scheme of things, it's like...
And then also you forget, you know, sometimes you speak to so many buyers, you're just like, who is this guy? I don't remember or what he's looking for. And then
no notes, no nothing.
No nothing. I mean, I'm big on notes, but I'm also big, you know, pen and paper. I'll just write something. I don't know where that scrap paper went. So I'm being a little more digital as well. I'm trying to put everything on a centralized database. So if I need to pull a pre-approval up right at the showing, boom, I don't have to go back to my computer. Boom, here's them up on my phone. You know, I want to be more, and also signing too. I've really gotten into huge in DocuSign because again, I'm more or less a paper guy. Like again, here it is. Here's the signature. No, now I have it all organized where I just go click, 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 sign, and now you have an electronic copy.
And you love it, right?
You know, it makes it more efficient. I'm all about efficiency.
Stevie's been getting more into it now with the DocuSign
I think
stuff.
this was the big reason why we came to Keller. You know, when we were all with Exit before this, and one of the big reasons that you pitched to us was how organized and their internal CRM and just how it made everybody's life as simple as possible. Whereas, you know, instead of using 4 different websites or 4 different apps to stay organized, this is an all-in-one app that we can basically be in that world every single day on top of our own selves. And that's what kind of forces you to, all right, like, stupid, use it. You know, it's only going to benefit you in your life and your business. So why not take advantage of it? And I know that was your big selling point when you and Ron came over.
I mean, think about it. You know, if you're set up now when you're doing 15 deals a year and you have your systems in place, you could do 30, 40 deals with the same system before you even have to change, you know, a single thing. Correct. But if you're, you know, all of a sudden next year you skyrocket and you're doing 30 and you're used to doing 12, you're going to be running around. You're not even going to know what the hell hit you.
And then you're going to have no life or no balance because you're catching up. You know, to me, I always hate the catch up. You know, it's kind of the I don't want to be behind. I'd rather be ahead and be on top of everything as opposed to going like, oh crap, I gotta do this. And then all of a sudden you start to get overwhelmed and then you get nothing done.
Yep. You got to have the systems and, you know, procedures in place way before you need them. Because when you need them, it's too late. Yeah. And, you know, I've learned that the hard way in the restaurant where like, we would start doing things and then we're like, oh, let's change it up. But we're changing it up once we already witnessed the problem. You know, if we got to do it before you witness the problem, so, you know. Proactive, exactly.
I mean, that's one thing with government is that, you know, sometimes it wasn't run as efficiently as possible. I know government not being run efficiently, weird. But, you know, there's certain things that I took away from that is that you learn kind of what works and what doesn't or what systems might work. And again, you always have to be changing. You know, it's always mutating. You know, you never really know. And, you know, for example, think like the pandemic changed everything. You know, showings. I mean, you know, before the pandemic, you weren't asking, oh, you know, does your buyer have a pre-approval? That, you know, they don't allow shopping shoppers, you know, anymore. Like they have to be pre-approved. It can't just be that stupid person like, oh, I think I might go into this house. No, I mean, now you have to actually be pre-approved.
I think that's here to stay, and I love the fact that it's here to stay.
I mean, there's more regulations to it all.
At least you know nobody's wasting their time. If you're looking to buy, there's no reason why you shouldn't have a pre-approval for the agent that's helping you and for the seller that's that you want to see their house. If you're serious, nobody's time is more valuable than the next person. So
correct.
If you don't have that, listen, then you're not serious because you should have it. Period.
Yeah. I mean, again, it's it's crazy how, you know, the pandemic kind of changed everything, but I don't think it's necessarily like a bad thing. Yeah, the market is nuts. We'll go over that later. But, you know, just logistically day to day, I think it kind of made it better. You know, it made people more serious. So, you know, you're not wasting time. And, you know, I guess for me, you know, I learned how to say no, you know, to certain, you know, leads or certain buyers. I think that's huge because if you have, you know, it's great to have systems in place if you have 100, you know, 20 people, but also, you know, you need to kind of...
Your time is valuable as well.
Yeah, you know, it's...
Listen, everybody has a dollar worth, right? Maybe this realtor is looking for 3% listings because he thinks, okay, well, I'm only worth $150 an hour. I'm happy with that. Maybe the next person thinks they're worth no less than 500. You know, but maybe their value that they bring is going to net that person more money. There's always somebody who's willing to do it cheaper. But what is that? You get a $300 client, or do you want the $500? What's the differences? There has to be a reason that they charge more. And if you think the value is there,
money and value, it's just trying to find that equal leveling point.
Exactly. So speaking about the market, because I think Ryan was in it prior to COVID, right?
Correct.
Steve hasn't been yet. You got in during middle of COVID.
August of 2020.
So
the heat.
What have you, obviously you don't have anything to base it off of, right? But what has been like your overall experience of being a full-time realtor in a market like this?
I think it forced you to learn the industry a lot quicker than it would be if you came in during a regular time. Back then, transactions were a little bit more slower. You had a little bit more time to get your feet wet, whereas here, time is of the essence for every single transaction.
Yep.
You need to know going into it how the entire transaction works from start to finish, because you need to be able to explain that to your client. You need to know yourself where you need to be at exact given times. You need to know that maybe some situations that, you know, regarding appraisal contingencies. I feel like appraisal contingencies weren't something anybody talked about prior to 2020.
Nope.
I bet you 90% of agents
never happened.
Maybe didn't know what it was. Now it's forced. Everybody needs to now know what that is, and you have to be able to explain that to your buyer, how this can make our offer a little bit more stronger than maybe the competition or so. So I think the coming in during that time allowed us to just kind of get thrown into the woods and just got to learn kind of off the cuff from there. And it was difficult, but I think it's the greatest thing just because you were able to grow a lot quicker. Learning.
But what is your take on it as a realtor for the buyers? Like how hard, like 3 years ago, if you had a lead that you were, you got a referral, you show them 6 houses this week, odds are if they like one of them, 2 of them, you're going to get accepted on one of them. Like you're going to get one in that 1 week.
And you don't have to see it that night.
Correct.
You can maybe...
We can plan it for Saturday.
Yeah, let's go 2 or 3 for Saturday.
It came on the market Monday. You could see it over the weekend and not worry.
You know, there used to be such things called counter offers, where now that doesn't really exist anymore.
No, give me your best and final.
Best and final. Yep. The lowball offer, you got to be fucking kidding me. Oh, am I allowed to?
We're explicit.
Okay, so you got to be
parental advisory.
Lowball offer, like get the hell out. Like, no,
it doesn't exist.
No, it doesn't. So
what you've been working a lot of buyers lately, and you've been getting a lot of deals accepted, but also you've been having a lot of, oh my god, I can't get it. Like we've seen 30 houses, we're putting in 20 offers. I just over asking, waving this, and you just can't get one accepted. And 3 years ago, that was never a thing. Like if you showed somebody made 20 offers, you would probably have 15 houses.
Absolutely.
So it's like now going through that, does that demoralize you at all? Does that make it feel like, is this like an industry I really want to go in? I feel like a lot of people would be deterred away from this, because they're not.
It's very demoralizing. But basically, if we are having the successes that we're having right now in this particular market and the industry right now, imagine whenever it levels off, what we're going to do then, because what we're going through right now. With buyers, a lot of it's just managing their expectations in the market.
Yes.
Like prior to, you're big with the Zoom calls. You've got me onto the Zoom calls. Prior to a buyer coming to you and saying, hey, I'm looking to, I'm getting my pre-approval. I'm looking to get into the market. I want to start actively looking in the next month or so. You're being completely blunt and managing their expectations from the beginning. Listen, you are getting into the market at one of the craziest times in the history of purchasing a home. This is what you're going to expect in it, just so they're aware of it, just so they know. So it's not like, oh my God, now I'm so deterred and they're demoralized and they say buying a house is not for me right now. So it's really just letting them know where the things are and being able to to explain to them prior to that situation coming up. And
Yeah, I think that's super important. I mean, one thing good COVID gave is setting up like the Zoom calls and having the consultations and being able to do things virtually and not always have to be face-to-face in person.
Correct.
So you can get more things done, but setting the expectations. Because I usually would get a lead, meet them at the house for the first time, and like start trying to build a relationship as you're showing a house.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they want to see the house. They don't want to talk to you. They want to, if the weather wasn't sunny and beautiful outside, like you're not having a 20-minute conversation outside, but now you're setting up that conversation with them and having a full-on conversation about the process, this, that, and now when you meet, it's not like you meet them for the first time. You're meeting them for the second time. They feel like they know you already, and you're already building that
got
bond.
that human equity / connection
I
already.
think it also
in
kind
there.
of propels, communication, because now,
Yeah.
when we, you communicate on Zoom now, where you actually have to, get your point across quickly, and you have to be effective with how you say things to buyers, and you have to use your words wisely, because now buyers, since everything's in text too, there's a lot of stuff in writing
Yeah.
that they could throw back in your face if you wanted to. So I think it really teaches you how to, communicate effectively without saying a bunch of bullshit, just to sift through it. No, we have to get straight to the point. I'm not going to be a quote unquote salesman and throw you the sales pitch. I'm going to tell you exactly how it is. And if I don't effectively communicate to you, then, you're probably SOL.
So speaking of that, then what are your guys' concerns about the market right now? What is your predictions on where do you see it going for how long? Are we going to be in this, say, give or take rut as a buyer?
There's a rut,
What
I'll
do you
tell you that.
what are your concerns about the market and where it's going for right now?
I mean, I'm going to speak about the year. I think the year is going to be pretty much the same. I think it's going to be even, especially for the next couple of months as it's getting warmer out in Long Island. It's going to be crazy. I think everyone's all pent up from the winter. People who struck out last year. Part of me thinks it's kind of like a competition. Now they've been striking out. Now they want to win. Now they want to win that house. So I think people are going to wave things, do crazy stuff. So that's why you have to be able to afford things and have everything in a row. All have be on the same team, have a good ecosystem, as we say. Have a good attorney, have a good broker. But for this year, I think it's going to plateau a little bit, only because when the interest rate goes up, a lot of people aren't going to be qualified buyers anymore. So that might deter some people. Also, people aren't, the inventory is low. People aren't selling, because they have nowhere to go.
Yep.
Even out of state, they have nowhere to go. Like, where are you going to go? So I think it's going to plateau for this year, but I don't know if it's going to get any better or worse per se. But I think it's going to flatten out as opposed to next year. Let's see how this year goes a little bit, because I think there's a lot of uncertainty, which also freaks people out. To me, I hate the unknown, and I think that's kind of where we're at right now. So
What do you got, Stevie?
I think that the same thing. I mean, with interest rates near 5% right now, historically, the higher the interest rate, you're going to see a little bit reduction in housing price. We are not seeing that right now. That's based off looking at data in the last 10 years. They haven't built enough
Right.
homes in Long. I mean, we live in Long Island, so there's
No
only
more
a
homes
finite
being
amount of
built.
homes available. But
we
I
got
think
war
it's-
going on. We got everything going on.
That too. But also, I mean, now all the sellers who refied during the pandemic, anybody who's a smart refi, they got their high 2s, low 3s interest rates right now. Now with interest rates up, great, they can sell high right now, but now they're going to now purchase high at a probably 2% higher than what their interest rate is right now. Now they're second guessing themselves. You know what? Maybe I don't need to sell at this point in time. Maybe I'll just hang out for a little bit, or maybe I'll put an extension on the home. So you're seeing less of that sell and buy inventory that's coming out from there. And I honestly, I can see it being this crazy for even more than a couple of years, just because with remote working, that's always been the future. COVID just expedited everything.
Yep.
People need more space in their house. They need that third or fourth bedroom. And if you draw a circle around every major city across the United States right now, all those suburban areas are all booming, and people need space. Why are you going to spend $2,900 for a 2-bedroom in Long Island City as a rental when you can come out in the island and get that
Especially
house?
now,
So-
if you have to drive it only once or twice, if anything.
correct.
What-
So I think it's
Where do you see the market changing to? Because they're saying the rates are going to continue to rise
Agreed.
for the rest of this year.
Well, the
they're
Fed said
saying
that, yeah.
they're going to be like the Fed said they're going to raise it 4 times throughout the year
and
then,
next year as well, 2023.
right? And now with the war, when the war started, that's when things took like a skyrocket and literally just took off way ahead of schedule. So they're still saying it's going to go into the 6s. Could be mid 6s, could be high 6s. Before the year's over. So when you had somebody started out 4 months ago and we're getting 3.5, say right now, a couple weeks ago they were getting 4.25, 4, and now you're going to say that same person, if they can't find something, is going to be 6, 6.5.
insane.
Like, one, are those people going to say I'm going to hold off because like I can't get what I want, or do they say I'm going to wait till the rates come back down? And do they keep going up? Or
honestly,
like,
I
what
think
happens?
in the Long Island particular market, you're going to see a lot of millennials really leaving Long Island, New York. I mean, just any first-time home buyers right now who are, 29, 30, 31, 32, especially as rates going up and with the current market, there's going to get to a point where they're that $500,000 price point, and they're going to say, why am I still here? Why not I look to go down south? And remember, we saw those metrics. I think Long Island had negative 200,000 population decrease during the pandemic, and Florida had the increases. So you're going to start to see people, just in our particular, I think, start to actually seriously entertain moving outside of
the remote work is really allowing them to just.
And now, like, with the millennials, whatever, I mean, they could make businesses on their cell phone. Like there's business is not, go to school, get a degree, then have a good job. It's not about that anymore. Kids, especially working remote, you could go to California and work remote. You can go to Montana and work remote. No one really knows where you are. You could still work from anywhere. Sometimes you don't even have to be, bound to a computer. Again, you could be traveling, making a business. So I think there's been a lot of changes. So it's pretty nuts.
So speaking of changes, what is one change that you guys are trying to focus on to increase your own business? It could be cold calling, door knocking, social media aspects. It could be whatever you think that your business needed to help take the next step on the staircase. What do you think, or what are you planning to do if you're not doing it already to get you to that next level?
I think just exposure. Doing things like this right now, you've been great. Your
I'm trying,
Instagram,
man.
Your
I'm
social
trying.
media page has been flying for the last
it's another element.
It's
another element.
And just trying to put as much, in which you've been feeding this through all our heads for the last 2 years, and look at the success of your team and yourself. And I think doing that right there, not being afraid to cold call, to door knock, and just to set a long time throughout your day, saying, all right, no matter what, this week I'm going to put 4 hours in. And start off slow and just try to get yourself out there more and just be creative. I mean, who's talking about they were giving out cards in front of Home Depot the other day? Or somebody was mentioning that. I mean, there's so many. The beauty of this industry is that there's so many creative ways that you can try to get your name out there for cheap.
A lot of ways to skin a cat.
And try to execute on some of those opportunities and see if it works.
And that's the thing. A lot of people in this industry, you could do things that are inexpensive that just take your time, but the value that you get back in real estate, at least, the commissions are so large, I would say, that you could put in so many hours and you'll still make a good profit on, that hour per base job. Like you could stand at a Home Depot with a business card, people that are possibly fixing up their house to possibly sell it, looking to buy because they're renting, whatever the case may be, that, okay, maybe you spend a couple $100s to get nice glossy postcards made up. And then it's just your time of handing it out, meeting people, talking to people. I hear it all the time. The more hands you shake, the more money you make. And I was never big on going to networking events and all this stuff. And like this year, we really started going to. Like we got on 3 in the last 2 months. And just the more people you're meeting, it just opens you up to maybe I could help you in your business. It doesn't have to be real estate related. Maybe I could help you just like you could help me, or referral this or that. And you never know.
You could be at a bar at a happy hour and randomly, go outside your car and then bump into somebody. Then boom, they're an investor. Or just meeting people, talking to people.
Like I know people all the time. They go outside, they're smoking a cigarette, they're just bullshitting. Oh yeah, I've been looking for a house. It's so hard. Oh, who you been working with? Oh, I'm not working with anybody yet. Oh, well, boom.
Shane, we should start smoking cigarettes right now for business. Is that the move?
The candy cigarettes that you just blow out and just the little sugar pops out.
You still make those?
I know those things are great.
Probably have like some amphetamines in them or some shit.
Oh yeah, there's definitely something bad in those.
Yeah, some fluoride or whatever. But are you done?
No, go ahead.
Oh no,
take it over.
I thought you were still talking. I hate interrupting. Like I just interrupted everybody. But so I mean, what we're talking about again?
Not candy cigarettes.
Yeah, we went to candy cigarettes, and I was like, man, I can go for some ice cream right now. But
all right. So back to the whole. Basically, what you guys were concerned about and what you guys are going to do to make your job better.
I think I'm going to kind of, piggyback off Steve a little bit. Is that for me, I never have a sales background, but I think I'm getting better at sales. Marketing. I was never into it. I thought it was boring. I'm like, what the hell is marketing anyway? Got a shot in the face where it's like, oh, this is marketing. So that's why I'm trying to be out there a little bit more, show my face a little bit more. I'm not, the best with social media because I know that's a huge platform. So I'm trying to be better with it. Again, I'm not really the biggest fan of, door knock stuff, but that stuff has to be done. So I want to be better with that and just, putting myself out there. And if you like me, then maybe we could work together. If not, it is what it is. But at least give somebody a shot to know me or to know what I'm all about.
That's the best thing you said right there. It is what it is. Because I've learned that I'm not meant to work with everybody, and that's okay. I'm going to put out the content about me. I'm going to show you who I am. Like, I'm not a guy that's going to be dressed up in a tie every day. I'm not going to be wearing a suit every day because that's not who I am. I'm doing a podcast right now in a t-shirt because this is who I am. My knowledge doesn't change, but if you think I need to be in a tie to represent you the right way, maybe we're not meant to be together, and that's okay. I'm not here to 100%. Be everybody. If you don't like me because I say fuck, that's okay.
Well, that's always, I feel like, the misnomer. It's like, I had somebody say to me, like, do you sell houses in jeans? I was like, what the fuck does it matter what I'm wearing?
What does that mean?
Like, it's so mean. But, I kind of took it as like, okay, I guess, it is a lot perception as well.
Listen, I'm not saying to look like a schlep and bring
but I think
baggy jeans down to my ass and,
look presentable.
Look
but
presentable.
At the same token, like, you could be wearing sweatpants and you could be selling, $1 million houses.
Right.
What does it really matter?
Exactly. I think if you look presentable, as long as you look presentable, you don't need to be dressed up in a suit.
Because I feel like the richest people are just wearing sweatpants anyway.
Well, when you make that much money, you can do whatever the fuck you want.
You don't care. Yeah, exactly. It doesn't matter what you're wearing.
True.
But what are you going to do, Stevie, other than that? How big, you guys are both getting big into social media now, or trying to at least, right? How much do you think the social media aspect of the business has really become digital to where social media is so important compared to, a couple years ago, maybe it wasn't as much, to help propel your business that way?
Well, when a millennial gets a letter, what do they do with it? Throw it out. Like, they don't care about, letters or somebody knocking on your door. No one answers the door anymore. Like, if someone knocks on your door, you're pretty much hiding, So that's
your
a little
ring doorbell.
tough.
Who is it? Who is
I know,
it?
the ring doorbell.
Yeah.
So it's tough. I mean, look, as an investigator, I used to knock on doors and people used to curse me out and things like that. Now I'm trying to sell you something. Before I was just trying to find out information.
Right.
And now I'm trying to kind of, I guess, sell you me in a sense. And it's not easy, but the way to really reach, like, I can only knock on a certain amount of doors. I can only call a certain amount of people. I could post 1 3-minute video about the market or about this or about that, and I could hit
people.
I could hit 1,000 people, and I think and to me, we could go back to efficiency or time. It took me 3 minutes, and I could be door knocking for 3 hours. That just took me 3 minutes, and I hit quadruple the people. Right. So, and can you equate ROI with marketing and stuff, or with social media? That's where I kind of, where am I really getting this back? But I think ultimately it'll happen. It's just about that time.
If that one person sees you on social media and then they spoke to you and they're like, oh, because I saw you, or you get that one accepted offer because a realtor maybe sees, oh, this guy does a great job, and pushes your offer over the next offer. That's ROI. You may not see it directly hand in hand.
100%.
But
that's what, I'm kind of getting used to at the same token, because I want to see a result right away. I guess call that impatience or whatever the case.
Yep.
But it just takes, time, and just, you got to keep doing it's consistency with anything else. You want to lose weight, you got to work out every day.
Yep. 100%. Now, last question will be for both of you guys.
God.
Why are you saying all God like that?
Because I feel like it's going to be not real estate related at all. Oh.
No, all right. You want an easy one?
Oh. Are you going to like fire off questions?
No, but I'll start you off with a simple question.
Okay.
You're making a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Are you going creamy or crunchy?
It's creamy.
I'm going to throw a curveball at you. I don't really do peanut butter jelly sandwiches.
Okay, well, if you eat peanut butter?
Not really.
All right, you're a waste. Steve?
It's creamy, always. And I get the Smucker's, the natural peanut butter. It's pretty delightful.
Grape or strawberry jelly?
Strawberry.
Grape is my favorite flavor. So grape.
Yeah, grape all the way. Strawberry is definitely
I like strawberry.
not even
The
close.
Uncrustables, the strawberry. I mean, I don't.
So
not
everyone
like grape.
everyone went to kindergarten with PB&Js. I
Correct.
was the only asshole going with turkey sandwiches.
Yep, definitely asshole. All right, real legit question. You guys got into the industry and you guys went strict to a team, basically. Obviously, you were my best friend, you were Ron's best friend, so it kind of was like a hand-in-hand type of deal, right? What benefits did you see of going with a team right out of the gate compared to trying to do it on your own? So what would you recommend to realtors that are getting into this industry right now? Would it be beneficial to join a team, regardless whatever team it is, or to go solo?
So we've spoke this many times, and I always say my biggest benefit was being able to ask quote unquote stupid questions, and being able to reach out to somebody that you're friendly with, or someone that you're newly friendly with, and not feel awkward about asking something that you think that you should know at that point in time. That was definitely my biggest thing. I know I called you, probably every single day, multiple times a day when I first started those first 6 months. But you know what? That's what helped me get to where I am right now. being able to not feel like, oh, I'm going to reach out to the, the branch manager of, the office, and I'm going to ask him a stupid question.
That's where you are quicker,
this.
being able to
and
ask
yes,
whatever you
because
want.
I felt comfortable being able to do so. Also just talking to agents who are going through the same thing. All of a sudden, agents love to talk about crazy transactions. So all of a sudden you're speaking to them and they explain something that happened in a deal. All of a sudden then you ask, what is a appraisal waiver contingent? What is that? Especially for a newer agent, and they're able to explain it to you, or there was a hiccup in that deal that now you can say, oh, something happened in Ryan's deal. This is what I can do to try to prevent that. And now any kind of future deals. And just I think that aspect of it is going out and speaking to as many people in the industry as you can is only going to better yourself. And regardless, you be whether you're in this 10 years, real estate is so complex where there is new issues that could arise, and you know what? Oh, wow. Or even I could have handled that situation a little bit differently, and it could have turned out in the client's favor if I went that direction. So I think that whole aspect of being a team and just having that camaraderie, it's nice to meet new friends. That's a fun thing.
It's nice to have people, and that even touch base on. Oh, say you're busy with something as you're getting into real estate, and you have a couple buyers, and they all want to see a house on a Saturday. Okay, now you have some other people that you could reach out to. We ask people to coverage each other all the time. And it's nice to have that other person to be able to have your back when you need
some. As a newer agent, you're doing a lot of business, and hey, you can work this open house, and now that buyer has firsthand experience of how to, that agent has firsthand experience now working open house and potentially pick up some buyers from there. Whereas if they came in through a solo agent, maybe they wouldn't have that opportunity to do so.
I was solo for, I guess, I don't know how long, a couple of years before we got a team. It could be a little, for lack of a better term, lonely, I guess, because, you have no one to bounce things off of. I'm a big talker. I like to talk things out. Even if it's stupid, I like to kind of, bounce things off other people because I can only experience so much. Everyone has come from different backgrounds, come from different places, from different neighborhoods, whatever the case. So it's good to kind of collectively come up with something. And Steve might have an experience that I was like, oh man. And then ironically enough, it usually happens the next month.
Yep.
And I'm already prepared for it. I already know. I think it's just also the camaraderie with us all. Like I'm kind of more of a team-based guy only because it doesn't always fall on me. It might fall on me initially, but then there's other support. Say I have a family emergency or if something happens in my family and I have things to get done, I can lean on everyone else, as well. Being solo, again, and doing all the work yourself, that's a lot to put on yourself as well. If you could do it, fine. But, ultimately, I do enjoy a team because I think there's more benefits that come along with than downside.
Yeah, I agree.
For newer agents, for sure.
Yeah, when you kind of grow, when you get, because you have to get a good base too. Keep in mind that you can't just come from nothing. You need some kind of basis because no one's going to listen to you if you're full of shit. If you just kind of act like you know what you're talking about, someone's going to see right through that. And, you need some basis where other of the newer agents, I think they do see us and they do see what we do. And we discuss how terrible sometimes our deal is or how good our deal is. And it helps them out too, which ultimately it all helps
each other.
I agree. Because there'll be a time where I help this agent out and he goes, and a year from now, they'll maybe have a seller or whatever the case, or they'll have another piece of information that I'll have, and here we go. We're off to the races. So
I agree. Well, if anybody wants to reach out to you directly, they're looking to buy, they're looking to sell, they have a question about the market, what they should be doing, what they shouldn't be doing, what's the best way to get a hold of you? Where can they follow you on social media? Give it to them.
So myself, at Zap Realty, ZAP Realty on Instagram, Steve Zappalla on Facebook, cell phone 516-319-4820. Anytime, any day, happy to help, whether you're, a week away or a year away in this market. There's a lot of questions, there's a lot of uncertainty in it, and it could be scary. And that's what, reaching out to any agent who can kind of walk you through that process.
Never too early to get started.
Here. Absolutely.
As for me, Ryan Rhodes Realty, Instagram, Ryan Rhodes on Facebook. I think I have a TikTok account. That's Ryan Rhodes Realty. You're looking at the, the 3 R's.
TikTok famous.
TikTok, I guess. But yeah, look, I'm willing to help with anything and I'll work with anybody. So just, if you want to reach out, hit me up, whatever the case, and I'll be happy to help.
Phone number?
631-252-1435.
All right. Again, if you have any questions, concerns about the real estate market, give us a call, 516-732-6398. Until next time, this workshop is a wrap.